At the bottom of our world lies a continent shrouded in perpetual mystery, a land where the sun refuses to set for months, only to disappear entirely for an equal stretch of darkness. Here, temperatures plummet to depths that would freeze human breath in seconds, yet life not only survives, but thrives in spectacular abundance. This is Antarctica, the last great wilderness on Earth. A realm where colossal icebergs tower like frozen cathedrals, where winds howl across endless white plains with the fury of 1,000 storms, and where the very ground beneath trembles as millions of tons of ice shift and crack under their own immense weight. In this frozen theater of extremes, an extraordinary cast of characters performs the ultimate survival drama. Massive whales breach through ice-choked waters, their songs echoing through the depths like ancient hymns. Armies of penguins march across glacial highways, their destination programmed by instincts older than memory. Seals plunge into the abyss, navigating a world of perpetual twilight, where death lurks in every shadow. Yet Antarctica is not merely a stage for survival. It is a land of profound transformation, where the boundary between seasons is not marked by falling leaves or blooming flowers, but by the very presence or absence of the sun itself. Here, winter and summer wage an eternal war, each claiming the continent for months at a time, reshaping not just the landscape, but the very essence of life that calls this place home. From the moment the first rays of sunlight pierce the polar darkness, signaling the end of the longest night on Earth, to the final sunset that ushers in months of frozen twilight, Antarctica reveals itself as a continent where every creature must master the art of adaptation or face extinction. Welcome to Antarctica, where the rhythm of life beats to the pulse of the planet itself. As the Antarctic summer begins, the continent awakens from its winter slumber like a giant stirring from sleep. The sun, absent for months, returns with a vengeance, circling the sky in an endless dance that never allows darkness to fall. This is the season of abundance, when the ice retreats just enough to reveal patches of rocky ground, when the ocean comes alive with the greatest concentration of life on Earth, and when millions of animals converge on Antarctica's shores to feed, breed, and raise their young. The transformation is nothing short of miraculous. Ice shelves that have been solid for months begin to crack and shift, creating leads of open water that stretch for hundreds of kilometers. The ocean, freed from its frozen prison, explodes with life as phytoplankton bloom in the endless daylight, turning the water into a green soup that forms the foundation of the Antarctic food web. Krill, tiny shrimp-like creatures, swarm in supergroups so vast they can be seen from space, their numbers reaching into the trillions. This is the season when Antarctica reveals its true nature, not as a barren wasteland, but as one of the most productive ecosystems on the planet. The combination of nutrient-rich waters, endless daylight, and the retreat of the ice creates conditions that support some of the largest aggregations of wildlife anywhere on Earth. In the early Antarctic summer, as the first cracks appear in the sea ice, columns of black and white figures begin their epic journey across the frozen landscape. Adelie penguins, perhaps the most quintessentially Antarctic of all penguins, are beginning their march to breeding colonies that have existed for thousands of years. Standing barely 70 centimeters tall, these remarkable birds are walking across ice that stretches for hundreds of kilometers, following ancient highways that their ancestors have used for millennia. Each step is calculated, each movement purposeful, as they navigate a landscape that would challenge the most experienced polar explorer. Watch as a group of Adelies approaches a lead of open water, their black and white forms stark against the brilliant blue of the ice. They gather at the edge, heads bobbing as they peer into the dark water below, scanning for the telltale shadow of a leopard seal. One brave individual approaches the edge, then another, until suddenly, as if responding to an invisible signal, they all dive in simultaneously, their sleek bodies cutting through the water like living torpedoes. Underwater, the Adelies transform from awkward comedians to graceful athletes. Their wings, useless for flight, become powerful propellers that drive them through the water at speeds approaching 30 kilometers per hour. They can hold their breath for up to 6 minutes, diving to depths of over 100 meters as they pursue the krill and fish that will fuel their journey. Back on the ice, the Adelies continue their march, their destination still hundreds of kilometers away. They move in loose formation, sometimes sliding on their bellies across smooth ice, sometimes walking upright across rough terrain. Their journey is fraught with danger, from the ever-present threat of leopard seals to the risk of being caught in a blizzard or separated from the group by a sudden crack in the ice. As the Adelie penguins navigate the surface world of ice and snow, the ocean beneath them resonates with sounds that seem to come from another world entirely. Deep, haunting melodies that can travel for hundreds of kilometers through the water, songs so complex and beautiful that they seem to speak of ancient wisdom and profound emotion. These are the songs of the humpback whale, and as the Antarctic summer progresses, more and more of these magnificent creatures arrive in the Southern Ocean to feast on the abundance that the season provides. Measuring up to 16 meters in length and weighing up to 36 tons, humpbacks are among the largest animals ever to have lived on Earth, yet they feed almost exclusively on some of the ocean's smallest creatures. A humpback whale surfaces near the edge of the pack ice, its massive head breaking the surface with a sound like a small explosion. Water cascades from its deeply grooved throat as it exhales, sending a spout of vapor 30 meters into the air. For a moment, it lies motionless at the surface, its enormous bulk dwarfing the ice floes around it, before taking a deep breath and disappearing once again into the depths. Beneath the surface, the whale is engaged in one of nature's most spectacular feeding behaviors. Working alone or in coordinated groups, the humpbacks use a technique called bubble netting to concentrate their prey. Swimming in a spiral pattern beneath a school of krill, they release streams of bubbles that rise to the surface, creating a cylindrical net that confuses and concentrates the tiny crustaceans. At the crucial moment, the whale rockets upward through the center of the bubble net, its massive mouth opening to reveal baleen plates that strain thousands of liters of water and krill. The throat pleats expand like an accordion, allowing the whale to take in volumes of water that would fill a small swimming pool. As the mouth closes, the tongue, weighing as much as an elephant, forces the water out through the baleen plates, trapping the krill inside. This feeding behavior, repeated dozens of times each day, allows the humpbacks to consume up to 1.5 tons of krill daily, storing the energy they will need for their epic migration to tropical waters, where they will breed and give birth. While the humpback whales feed in the deep waters offshore, a different kind of predator patrols the ice edge where the solid pack ice meets the open ocean. Here, in the shadows cast by towering ice floes, the leopard seal waits with the patience of a master hunter. At 3.5 meters in length and weighing up to 600 kilograms, the leopard seal is Antarctica's apex predator, a creature so perfectly adapted to hunting in the ice that it has no natural enemies as an adult. Its distinctive spotted coat, which gives the species its name, provides perfect camouflage against the dappled light and shadow of the ice edge. A leopard seal glides silently through the water, its massive head and powerful jaws giving it an almost prehistoric appearance. Unlike other seals, which are primarily fish eaters, the leopard seal has evolved to hunt a much wider variety of prey, from krill and fish to penguins and even other seals. Its teeth tell the story of this diverse diet: sharp, interlocking canines for gripping prey, and complex molars for straining krill from the water. The seal positions itself near a popular penguin highway, where adelies regularly enter and exit the water. Its approach is calculated and patient, sometimes waiting motionless for hours for the perfect opportunity. When a group of penguins appears at the ice edge, the seal submerges, becoming invisible in the dark water below. The attack, when it comes, is explosive in its violence and precision. The leopard seal rockets upward from the depths, its massive jaws clamping down on an unfortunate penguin before it even realizes the danger. The seal's technique for handling penguin prey is as remarkable as it is brutal, shaking the bird violently to separate the meat from the skin and bones, a behavior that has been observed and documented but never fully understood. Not all leopard seal encounters end in death, however. Recent observations have revealed a surprising side to these apex predators. Some leopard seals have been observed apparently playing with penguins, pushing them around without harming them, or even attempting to feed live penguins to human divers, behavior that suggests a level of intelligence and complexity that scientists are only beginning to understand. High above the ice, where the leopards, seals, and penguins conduct their deadly game, another predator patrols the Antarctic skies. The South Polar skua, a bird of such fierce reputation that it has been called the pirate of the Antarctic, wheels through the air on wings that can carry it thousands of kilometers from the nearest land. These remarkable birds are the ultimate Antarctic opportunists, equally at home scavenging carrion on the ice, stealing food from other birds, or hunting live prey ranging from fish to penguin chicks. Their adaptability and intelligence have made them one of the most successful predators in the Antarctic ecosystem. A skua spots a group of Adelie penguins feeding their chicks at a rookery on a rocky outcrop. The adult penguins are bringing food from the sea, their crops full of krill and fish that they will regurgitate for their hungry offspring. The skua circles overhead, its keen eyes assessing the situation, looking for the perfect moment to strike. The attack is swift and decisive. The skua dive bombs the rookery, its harsh cries creating chaos among the penguins. In the confusion, it targets a parent penguin returning with food, harassing it relentlessly until the penguin regurgitates its catch. The skua immediately swoops down to claim its prize, swallowing the food before the penguin can recover. But the skua's relationship with penguins is not always one of simple predation. These intelligent birds have been observed using sophisticated strategies to maximize their hunting success. Some skuas work in pairs, one bird distracting the parent penguins while the other raids the nest. Others have learned to follow human researchers, knowing that the disturbance caused by scientific activities often provides easy opportunities for scavenging. The skua's reputation as a pirate is well deserved, but it is also a testament to the bird's remarkable adaptability. In an environment where resources are scarce and widely scattered, the ability to exploit every available opportunity, whether through predation, scavenging, or theft, is the key to survival. As the Antarctic summer reaches its peak, the rocky beaches and tussock grass slopes of the subantarctic islands witness one of the most remarkable comeback stories in conservation history. Antarctic fur seals, once hunted to the brink of extinction for their luxurious pelts, have returned to their traditional breeding grounds in numbers that would have seemed impossible just decades ago. The males arrive first, massive bulls weighing up to 200 kilograms, their thick necks and powerful shoulders testament to the battles they will fight for breeding rights. They haul themselves onto the beaches with surprising grace for such large animals, their flippers propelling them across the rocks with the rhythm of a slow dance. A dominant male surveys his territory from atop a rocky promontory, his deep bellowing calls echoing across the beach. His thick fur, which gives the species its name, ripples in the Antarctic wind as he scans the horizon for rivals. This territory, perhaps no more than a few meters of rocky beach, will be his kingdom for the next several months, and he will defend it with his life. The first females begin to arrive, sleek and graceful compared to the massive males. They are heavily pregnant, having mated the previous summer, and they have come to these beaches to give birth to the pups they have been carrying through the long Antarctic winter. Each female will seek out the territory of the strongest male, and choice that will determine the fate of her offspring. The birth itself is surprisingly quick and efficient. The female assumes a sitting position, and within minutes, a small black pup emerges, already equipped with the instincts it will need to survive in this harsh environment. The mother immediately begins to clean and nurse her offspring, their bond forming in the first moments of life. Within days, the pup is swimming in the shallow pools left by the retreating tide, its natural swimming ability already evident. The mother must balance the needs of her pup with her own need to feed, making increasingly long trips to sea to hunt for the krill and fish that will sustain her through the nursing period. Despite their misleading name, crab-eater seals have never eaten a crab in their lives. These sleek, silver-gray seals are the ultimate krill specialists, possessing some of the most specialized teeth in the animal kingdom, designed specifically for filtering these tiny crustaceans from the water. Crab-eater seals are among the most abundant large mammals on Earth, with populations estimated at between 7 and 12 million individuals. During the Antarctic summer, they can be found throughout the pack ice zone, often hauled out on ice floes in groups of dozens or even hundreds. A group of crab-eater seals rests on a large ice floe, their sleek bodies reflecting the midnight sun. They appear relaxed, almost lazy as they sprawl across the ice, but this apparent inactivity is deceptive. These seals are perfectly adapted to life in the pack ice, and their every behavior is shaped by the need to find food and avoid predators in one of Earth's most challenging environments. When feeding time arrives, the seals slip into the water with barely a splash, their streamlined bodies disappearing into the dark water beneath the ice. Underwater, they transform into efficient hunting machines, using their specialized teeth to strain krill from the water with remarkable precision. The crab-eater's teeth are unlike those of any other seal. Instead of the sharp, pointed teeth typical of fish-eating seals, crab-eaters have evolved complex lobed teeth that fit together like a sieve. When feeding, the seal opens its mouth and sucks in water containing krill, then uses its tongue to force the water out through the gaps between its teeth, trapping the krill inside. This feeding strategy is so efficient that a single crab-eater seal can consume up to 8 kilograms of krill per day. And the collective impact of the crab-eater population on Antarctic krill stocks is enormous. It is estimated that crab-eater seals consume more krill than all other Antarctic predators combined, making them one of the most important species in the Southern Ocean ecosystem. As the Antarctic summer reaches its peak, the waters around the continent become the stage for one of the most remarkable aerial displays in the natural world, the wandering albatross, with its 3-meter wingspan and mastery of dynamic soaring, patrols the Southern Ocean with an efficiency that seems to defy the laws of physics. These magnificent birds are the ultimate ocean wanderers, capable of flying thousands of kilometers without landing, using the wind and waves to sustain their flight for hours at a time. Their presence in Antarctic waters is a testament to the richness of the Southern Ocean ecosystem, as they follow the currents and weather patterns that concentrate their prey. A wandering albatross glides effortlessly across the swells, its massive wings barely moving as it rides the air currents generated by the waves. Its keen eyes scan the surface for signs of food, a patch of disturbed water indicating feeding whales, a slick of oil from a dead seal, or the flash of silver that might indicate a school of fish near the surface. The bird's flight is a masterpiece of energy conservation. By using a technique called dynamic soaring, the albatross exploits the difference in wind speed at different heights above the ocean surface. It gains altitude by flying into the wind, then turns and glides downwind, using the energy gained from the wind differential to power its flight. This technique allows the bird to cover vast distances while expending minimal energy. When the albatross spots potential prey, its approach is calculated and precise. It settles on the water's surface with surprising grace for such a large bird, its webbed feet acting as brakes as it comes to rest. Once on the water, it dives its head and neck below the surface, using its powerful bill to seize fish, squid, or carrion floating just below the surface. The wandering albatross's presence in Antarctic waters is seasonal, timed to coincide with the peak productivity of the Southern Ocean. As the summer progresses, and the food becomes more concentrated, more and more of these magnificent birds arrive to take advantage of the abundance. their presence adding a new dimension to the complex web of predator and prey relationships that define Antarctic life. While the wandering albatross masters the air above the Southern Ocean, the waters below host visits from the largest animal that has ever lived on Earth. The blue whale, reaching lengths of over 30 meters and weighing up to 200 tons, arrives in Antarctic waters during the summer months to feed on the vast swarms of krill that bloom in the midnight sun. These magnificent creatures dwarf even the largest dinosaurs that ever walked the Earth. Their hearts alone weigh as much as a small car, and their tongues can weigh as much as an elephant. Yet despite their enormous size, blue whales are among the most graceful swimmers in the ocean, their streamlined bodies cutting through the water with surprising elegance. A blue whale surfaces in the distance, its massive blow creating a spout that can reach heights of over 9 meters. The whale's back seems to go on forever as it rolls through the surface, the distinctive blue-gray coloration giving way to the pale yellow of its belly. The sight of such a massive creature in the vast expanse of the Southern Ocean is both humbling and awe-inspiring. The blue whale's feeding strategy is one of the most spectacular sights in the natural world. Using a technique called lunge feeding, the whale accelerates toward dense concentrations of krill, opening its massive mouth to engulf volumes of water that can exceed 70 tons. The whale's throat pleats expand like a massive accordion, and its tongue, weighing up to 3 tons, forces the water out through baleen plates that can be over a meter long. A single blue whale can consume up to 4 tons of krill per day during the Antarctic summer, and the collective impact of the blue whale population on krill stocks is enormous. These gentle giants play a crucial role in the Antarctic ecosystem, not only as consumers of krill, but also as sources of nutrients through their massive fecal plumes, which fertilize the ocean and support the growth of phytoplankton. Among the 4 species of seals that call Antarctica home, none is more mysterious or elusive than the Ross seal. Named after British explorer James Clark Ross, these seals are the least studied of all Antarctic seals, their secretive nature and preference for heavy pack ice making them extremely difficult to observe and study. Ross seals are immediately recognizable by their distinctive appearance. They have proportionally the largest eyes of any seal, enormous foreflippers that seem too large for their bodies, and a coat pattern of dark streaks on a lighter background that gives them an almost tiger-like appearance. These adaptations hint at a lifestyle that is uniquely suited to the Antarctic environment. A Ross seal hauls out on a remote ice floe deep in the pack ice, its massive eyes scanning the surrounding ice for any sign of danger. The seal's distinctive coloration provides excellent camouflage against the mottled light and shadow of the ice environment, making it nearly invisible unless it moves. The Ross seal's behavior is as enigmatic as its appearance. Unlike other Antarctic seals that often gather in large groups, Ross seals are typically solitary, preferring to haul out on isolated ice floes far from the open ocean. Their diet consists primarily of squid, fish, and krill, but their hunting behavior remains largely unknown due to the difficulty of studying them in their remote habitat. Recent research using satellite tracking has revealed that Ross seals are capable of making extraordinarily deep dives, reaching depths of over 700 meters and remaining underwater for up to 2 hours. These diving abilities rival those of the much larger elephant seals, suggesting that Ross seals have evolved remarkable physiological adaptations for deep water hunting. The Ross seal's vocalizations are among the most unusual sounds in the Antarctic. They produce a variety of calls including trills, chugs, and siren-like wails that can carry for great distances across the ice. The function of these calls is still not fully understood, but they may play a role in communication between widely scattered individuals in the vast expanse of the pack ice. As the Antarctic summer draws to a close, the continent begins its transformation into a realm of perpetual darkness. The sun, which for months has circled the sky without setting, begins to dip lower on the horizon with each passing day, until finally it disappears entirely, leaving Antarctica in the grip of a winter that will last for 4 months. This is not merely the absence of summer. This is the arrival of conditions so extreme that they challenge the very limits of life on Earth. Temperatures that were merely frigid in summer plummet to depths that would freeze exposed flesh in minutes. Winds that were merely fierce become howling demons that can strip the heat from any creature foolish enough to venture into their path. The ocean, which in summer teemed with life, begins to freeze solid, its surface becoming a platform of ice that can support the weight of the largest animals on Earth. Yet even in this season of ultimate extremes, life not only endures but finds ways to thrive. The creatures that remain in Antarctica during the winter are the true masters of survival, possessing adaptations so remarkable that they seem to belong to another world entirely. They huddle together in groups that can number in the hundreds of thousands, sharing warmth and protection against the killing cold. They dive beneath the ice to hunt in a world of perpetual twilight, navigating by senses that humans can barely comprehend. They time their life cycles to the rhythm of the seasons, giving birth and raising their young in conditions that would be fatal to most life on Earth. As the Antarctic winter begins to tighten its grip on the continent, one of the most extraordinary events in the natural world is about to unfold. Deep in the heart of the Weddell Sea, where the ice extends for hundreds of kilometers in every direction, thousands of emperor penguins are gathering for a ritual that has remained unchanged for millions of years. These magnificent birds, standing over a meter tall and weighing up to 40 kilograms, are the ultimate Antarctic survivors. They are the only bird species that breeds during the Antarctic winter, timing their reproduction to coincide with the harshest conditions on Earth. This seemingly impossible strategy is actually a masterpiece of evolutionary adaptation, allowing their chicks to fledge during the brief Antarctic summer when food is most abundant. The emperor penguin breeding colony is a sight that defies description. Thousands of birds stand in tight groups across the ice, their black and white plumage stark against the endless white of the frozen landscape. The males, slightly larger than the females, stand with their heads held high, their orange and yellow neck patches brilliant even in the dim light of the polar twilight. The courtship ritual begins with a behavior that seems almost too tender for such a harsh environment. Males and females approach each other with their heads lowered, touching beaks and necks in a gentle dance that will determine the fate of their offspring. The male's call, a deep resonant trumpet that can carry for kilometers across the ice, announces his readiness to take on the ultimate parental challenge. After mating, the female lays a single precious egg, then carefully transfers it to the male in a maneuver that requires perfect coordination. The male positions the egg on his feet, covering it with a fold of warm skin called a brood pouch. From this moment, he will not leave the egg for the next 64 days, enduring the worst of the Antarctic winter, while his mate makes the long journey to the ocean to feed. The male emperor penguin's fast during the incubation period is one of the most extreme in the animal kingdom. He will lose up to 40% of his body weight, surviving on fat reserves accumulated during the summer. As the winter deepens and temperatures drop to -40 degrees Celsius, he huddles with thousands of other males in formations that rotate like living galaxies, each bird taking turns at the warm center of the group. While the emperor penguins endure the winter above the ice, another Antarctic specialist has found a way to escape the worst of the winter conditions by living beneath the frozen surface of the ocean. The Weddell seal, named after the British explorer James Weddell, is one of the most southerly living mammals on Earth, capable of surviving in areas where the sea is frozen solid for most of the year. The Weddell seal's adaptation to life under the ice is nothing short of remarkable. These seals maintain breathing holes in the ice by using their canine teeth to scrape away the ice that constantly forms over their access points to the surface. This behavior, while essential for survival, comes at a cost. The constant scraping wears down their teeth, and older seals often die not from disease or predation, but from their inability to maintain their breathing holes. A Weddell seal surfaces at its breathing hole, its massive head breaking through the ice with a sound like a small explosion. Steam rises from its nostrils as it exhales, the warm air from its lungs creating a cloud of vapor that instantly begins to freeze in the Antarctic air. The seal's dark eyes, perfectly adapted to the dim light under the ice, scan the surface for any sign of danger before it takes several deep breaths and disappears once again into the depths. Beneath the ice, the Weddell seal inhabits a world of perpetual twilight, where the only light comes from the phosphorescence of marine organisms and the dim glow filtering through the ice above. Here, in water that never rises above -2 degrees Celsius, the seal hunts for fish, squid, and crustaceans, with a precision that seems almost supernatural. The seal's diving ability is extraordinary by any standard. It can remain underwater for over an hour, diving to depths of over 700 meters in search of prey. Its blood contains twice the concentration of oxygen-carrying red blood cells as terrestrial mammals, and its muscles are packed with myoglobin, a protein that stores oxygen for use during extended dives. The Weddell seal's hunting strategy beneath the ice is as sophisticated as it is effective. Using echolocation similar to that of dolphins, the seal can locate prey in complete darkness, its calls bouncing off fish, and returning to provide a detailed acoustic map of its surroundings. The seal's whiskers, or vibrissae, are also highly sensitive, capable of detecting the slightest water movements that might indicate the presence of prey. In the perpetual twilight of the Antarctic winter, where most birds have long since fled to warmer climates, a ghostly figure moves through the frozen landscape with an otherworldly grace. The snow petrel, pure white from beak to tail, is one of the few birds that remains in Antarctica throughout the winter, its presence a testament to the remarkable adaptations that allow life to survive in the most extreme conditions on Earth. These ethereal birds, with their wingspan of nearly a meter, are perfectly adapted to life in the Antarctic ice. Their pure white plumage provides perfect camouflage against the snow and ice, while their compact, streamlined bodies allow them to maneuver through the fierce katabatic winds that sweep down from the polar plateau. A snow petrel materializes from the swirling snow like a spirit made manifest, its white form barely visible against the white landscape. It rides the wind currents with an ease that seems to defy gravity, its wings barely moving as it glides across the ice in search of food. The bird's presence is so ephemeral that it seems to appear and disappear at will, now visible against a patch of dark ice, now vanishing completely against the snow-covered landscape. The snow petrel's diet consists primarily of krill, fish, and squid. But during the winter months, when these resources are scarce, the bird turns to a more macabre food source. It becomes a scavenger, feeding on the carcasses of seals and penguins that have died during the harsh winter months. The bird's keen sense of smell allows it to locate these food sources from great distances, and its powerful bill enables it to tear through frozen flesh and fat. The snow petrel's nesting behavior is as extreme as its winter survival strategy. These birds nest in the most inaccessible locations imaginable, crevices and cliff faces hundreds of meters above sea level, often in areas where the temperature never rises above freezing. The female lays a single egg in a nest made of small stones and feathers, and both parents take turns incubating the egg in shifts that can last for several days. The chick that emerges from this extreme nursery is already equipped for life in the Antarctic. Covered in dense, insulating down and possessing a metabolism that can function at temperatures well below freezing, the young snow petrel represents the ultimate triumph of adaptation over adversity. The leopard seal continues its role as Antarctica's apex predator, but winter brings new challenges and opportunities for these magnificent hunters. The formation of extensive sea ice creates new hunting grounds, but it also forces the seals to adapt their strategies to the changing conditions. During the winter months, leopard seals must maintain breathing holes in the ice, using their powerful flippers and teeth to keep access points open in the constantly freezing sea. These breathing holes become focal points for the seal's winter existence, serving not only as access to air, but also as ambush points for hunting. A leopard seal surfaces at its breathing hole, its massive head emerging from the dark water with explosive force. Ice crystals form instantly on its whiskers as the seal's warm breath meets the frigid air. The seal's keen eyes scan the surrounding ice for any sign of prey, its patience legendary among Antarctic predators. The winter hunting strategy of the leopard seal is different from its summer tactics. With fewer penguins present and the ice providing new vantage points, the seal must adapt to hunting in a three-dimensional environment that includes both water and ice. Some leopard seals have been observed hunting beneath the ice, using their powerful sonar abilities to locate prey in the dark waters below. The seal's remarkable intelligence becomes even more apparent during the winter months. Individual seals have been observed developing unique hunting techniques, such as using ice floes as platforms to launch attacks on prey, or creating waves to wash prey off ice surfaces. These behaviors suggest a level of problem-solving ability that rivals that of the most intelligent marine mammals. The leopard seal's role as an apex predator becomes even more critical during the winter months, when the simplified food web places enormous pressure on the remaining prey species. A single leopard seal can consume hundreds of kilograms of prey each month, making it one of the most important predators in the Antarctic ecosystem. In the depths of the Antarctic winter, when most of the continent is locked in perpetual darkness, a remarkable visitor arrives from the opposite end of the Earth, The Arctic tern, having completed the longest migration of any animal on the planet, arrives in Antarctic waters just as the continent is experiencing its harshest conditions. These extraordinary birds have just completed a journey of over 40,000 kilometers, following the sun from the Arctic summer to the Antarctic summer, and then continuing on to experience the Antarctic winter. Their arrival in Antarctic waters during the winter months is timed to coincide with the peak abundance of their preferred prey, small fish and krill that become concentrated in the relatively warm waters around the continent's periphery. An Arctic tern hovers over a patch of open water, its elegant form silhouetted against the gray sky of the Antarctic winter. Despite having traveled halfway around the world, the bird shows no signs of fatigue. Its wings beat with mechanical precision as it scans the water below, its keen eyes searching for the flash of silver that indicates prey near the surface. The tern's hunting technique is a masterpiece of aerial precision. When it spots a suitable target, the bird folds its wings and plunges toward the water in a controlled dive that can reach speeds of over 60 kilometers per hour. At the last moment, it spreads its wings to break its fall, striking the water with its bill to seize prey that may be only centimeters below the surface. The Arctic tern's presence in Antarctic waters during the winter months adds a new dimension to the Southern Ocean ecosystem. These birds compete with resident species for food resources, but they also bring nutrients from the Arctic in their bodies, contributing to the complex web of nutrient cycling that sustains life in the Southern Ocean. The tern's ability to navigate across vast distances using celestial cues, magnetic fields, and other environmental signals remains one of the great mysteries of animal behavior. These birds can return to the same feeding areas year after year, suggesting a navigational ability that surpasses even the most sophisticated human technology. In the deepest waters of the Southern Ocean, where the pressure is measured in tons per square meter and the temperature never rises above freezing, one of the most mysterious and formidable predators on Earth glides through the darkness with tentacles that can span the length of a bus. The colossal squid, the largest invertebrate on Earth, is a creature so extraordinary that it seems to belong to the realm of mythology, rather than biology. With eyes the size of dinner plates and tentacles armed with hooks that can rotate like meat grinders, the colossal squid is perfectly adapted to life in the deep waters of the Southern Ocean. A colossal squid moves through the abyssal depths with the grace of a living submarine, its massive body propelled by fins that undulate like underwater wings. Its enormous eyes, the largest in the animal kingdom, can detect the faintest traces of light in the perpetual darkness of the deep ocean. These eyes are not just large for their own sake. They are precisely adapted to detect the bioluminescent displays of prey animals and the silhouettes of predators against the faint light filtering down from the surface. The squid's hunting strategy is as sophisticated as it is terrifying. Using its powerful tentacles, which can extend to lengths of over 2 meters, the squid can capture prey at distances that would be impossible for other predators. The tentacles are armed with hooks that can rotate independently, allowing the squid to maintain its grip on struggling prey while positioning it for the killing bite. The colossal squid's beak, hidden at the center of its tentacles, is proportionally the largest of any squid species. This powerful cutting tool can slice through the thick skin and blubber of large prey, including fish that may weigh hundreds of kilograms. The squid's radula, a rasping tongue covered in thousands of tiny teeth, helps to process prey into pieces small enough to swallow. Recent research has revealed that colossal squid may be more abundant in Antarctic waters than previously thought, but their deep water habitat makes them extremely difficult to study. Most of what we know about these remarkable creatures comes from specimens found in the stomachs of sperm whales, their only known predators, suggesting that the battle between these titans of the deep is one of the most epic confrontations in the natural world. In the dark waters beneath the Antarctic ice, where giants like the colossal squid hunt in the abyss, a much smaller but equally important predator moves through the water column in vast schools. The Antarctic silverfish, despite its modest size of just 15 centimeters, plays a crucial role in the Antarctic ecosystem as one of the most abundant fish species in the Southern Ocean. These remarkable fish are perfectly adapted to life in the permanently cold waters of Antarctica. Their bodies produce antifreeze proteins that prevent ice crystals from forming in their blood, allowing them to remain active in water temperatures that would be fatal to most other fish. Their large eyes are adapted to the dim light that filters through the ice, and their bodies are streamlined for efficient swimming in the cold, dense water. A school of Antarctic silverfish moves through the water beneath the ice like a living river of silver, their metallic scales catching and reflecting the faint light that filters down from above. The school moves with the fluid coordination of a single organism, thousands of individual fish acting as one as they navigate the three-dimensional maze of the under-ice environment. The Antarctic silverfish's role in the ecosystem cannot be overstated. These fish serve as a crucial link between the microscopic organisms at the base of the food web and the larger predators that depend on them. They feed on copepods, krill, and other small organisms, converting these tiny prey items into protein packages that can sustain everything from seals to whales. The silverfish's reproductive strategy is as remarkable as its ecological importance. Unlike most fish, which lay their eggs in specific spawning grounds, Antarctic silverfish broadcast their eggs directly into the water column, where they float freely in the current. The eggs are equipped with oil droplets that keep them buoyant, and they can drift for months before hatching into larvae that will eventually join the adult schools. While the waters around Antarctica teem with life, the continent itself supports remarkably few terrestrial organisms. The harsh climate, lack of vegetation, and extreme seasonal variations make Antarctica one of the most challenging environments for land-dwelling life on Earth. As the winter darkness begins to lift and the first signs of spring appear in the Antarctic, a new wave of visitors arrives on the continent's shores. Chin-strap penguins, distinguished by the distinctive black line that runs under their chins like a helmet strap, arrive in massive numbers to establish breeding colonies on the rocky shores and ice-free islands around the Antarctic peninsula. These penguins are among the most aggressive and territorial of all penguin species, and their arrival marks the beginning of one of the most intense periods of competition and conflict in the Antarctic ecosystem. Chin-strap penguins are perfectly adapted to life at the boundary between ice and open water, and their presence indicates areas where the sea ice is beginning to break up as winter gives way to summer. A group of chin-strap penguins approaches the shore, their distinctive black and white plumage stark against the gray ice and dark water. They move with the confident stride of creatures that have made this journey countless times, their heads held high, and their flippers spread for balance as they navigate the treacherous transition from water to land. The chinstrap's arrival on shore is accompanied by a cacophony of calls and displays as the penguins establish their territories and begin the process of selecting mates. The males arrive first, claiming the best nesting sites and defending them vigorously against rivals. Their aggressive nature is legendary among penguin researchers who have observed chinstrap penguins engaging in battles that can last for hours. The chinstrap penguin's diet consists primarily of krill, but they are also opportunistic feeders that will take fish, squid, and other marine organisms when available. Their hunting strategy involves making repeated dives to depths of up to 100 meters, using their powerful flippers to pursue prey through the water column. The presence of chinstrap penguins in Antarctic waters serves as an indicator of ecosystem health. These birds are sensitive to changes in sea ice extent and krill abundance, and their breeding success is closely monitored by researchers as a measure of the overall health of the Antarctic marine ecosystem. As the Antarctic winter reaches its deepest point, when the continent has been locked in darkness for months and the cold has reached its most extreme depths, the first subtle signs of change begin to appear. The transition from winter to summer in Antarctica is not marked by the gradual warming and blooming of temperate regions, but by the slow return of light to a world that has been shrouded in darkness. The sun, absent for 4 months, begins to appear as a faint glow on the horizon, growing stronger each day until it finally breaks free of the ice-locked landscape. This moment, when the sun first appears above the horizon after the long Antarctic night, is one of the most dramatic transitions in the natural world, marking the beginning of a new cycle of life and renewal. The animals that have survived the winter begin to stir from their survival strategies. Emperor penguin chicks, now large enough to survive on their own, prepare for their first journey to the sea. Weddell seals, having maintained their breathing holes throughout the winter, begin to venture further from their icebound territories. The snow petrels, ghostly guardians of the winter landscape, begin to prepare for the breeding season that will soon transform the continent. As the light returns and the temperatures begin their slow rise toward the brief warmth of summer, the stage is set for the return of the millions of animals that fled the continent during the winter months. The Great Migration is about to begin again, and Antarctica will once more become the theater for one of the greatest displays of life on Earth. But even as we celebrate the return of light and life to Antarctica, we must acknowledge the growing challenges that face this pristine wilderness. The continent, that has remained largely unchanged for millions of years, now faces pressures that threaten to alter its fundamental character. The Antarctic wilderness, for millions of years a sanctuary isolated from human influence, now faces unprecedented challenges that threaten its delicate balance. Climate change, driven by global greenhouse gas emissions, is warming the Antarctic Peninsula at a rate 3 times faster than the global average. The results are already visible. Massive ice shelves are collapsing, Glaciers are retreating at accelerating rates, and the timing of seasonal cycles is shifting in ways that disrupt the carefully synchronized life cycles of Antarctic species. The collapse of ice shelves like Larsen B, which had been stable for over 10,000 years, has eliminated critical habitat for species like Adelie penguins, while opening new areas to invasive species. Rising ocean temperatures are reducing the extent of sea ice, which serves as crucial breeding habitat for species like emperor penguins and crab-eater seals. The changing chemistry of the ocean, as it absorbs increasing amounts of carbon dioxide, is making it more acidic, threatening the microscopic organisms that form the base of the Antarctic food web. Commercial fishing in the Southern Ocean, while regulated by international treaty, continues to put pressure on species like Antarctic toothfish and krill, the keystone species that supports the entire ecosystem. The introduction of non-native species, accidentally transported by research stations and tourist vessels, threatens to disrupt ecosystems that have evolved in isolation for millions of years. Perhaps most concerning is the acceleration of these changes. What once occurred over geological timescales is now happening within human lifetimes, giving Antarctic species little time to adapt to rapidly changing conditions. The magnificent creatures that have mastered survival in Earth's most extreme environment now face their greatest challenge: surviving the unintended consequences of human activity on a global scale. The fate of Antarctica and its remarkable wildlife now rests in our hands. The decisions we make in the coming decades will determine whether future generations will witness the spectacular displays of life that have defined this continent for millions of years, or whether they will inherit a diminished world where the greatest survivors on Earth have finally met their match in the warming temperatures and changing chemistry of a planet transformed by human activity. Inspired by Antarctica's incredible wildlife? Like this video and tell us your favorite animal in the comments. Share it to help raise awareness and protect these fragile ecosystems. Don't forget to tap the bell icon so you're always ready for the next wild adventure.